Hello and welcome to Dad Got This. And today we're getting spicy. We're gonna find out why the hot sauce married a firefighter. Because they wanted someone that could handle the heat. I don't know about you, but I like hot sauce. I also like smoked foods. So I thought, why not marry the two and make a smoked hot sauce, smoked pepper hot sauce. We're gonna do two kinds. We're gonna do a fermented one and a quick cook one. And then later, we're gonna see which one I like better. But before we do any of that, we need to get prepped for making some hot sauce. I'm gonna use some Smokin pecan pellets. I think they'll add a nice flavor to the hot sauce. These are a pretty unique pellet. They're made from pecan shells, not pecan wood. They add an awesome flavor. Take your pellets, do the dad shake. The dad shake either compacts, loosens up, adds air, or does absolutely nothing. But I do it every single time. We're gonna set it to smoker, 350, 1 hour, sounds great. And we're gonna turn that on. Now that the smoker's getting ready, let's prep our peppers. Here I have 2 pounds of peppers. Since we're doing 2 batches, 1 pound per bat. I've got red Thai chilies, habaneros, and twist peppers in here. The twist peppers have very mild to almost no heat. And then I have a pound of jalapenos. We're gonna mix all these peppers and it's gonna give us a completely different flavor profile than just using one. These peppers I have already washed and cut the tops off of because I don't want to deal with doing that after they're smoked. So we're going to do these and just chop the tops off of these. We don't need the tops. Just easier to do it now. I have made a version of this hot sauce before. Of course, being me, I didn't write anything down. So this is me making a recipe based off of me freestyling a hot sauce. Now, the last hot sauce I made, I gave some to a friend of mine. Fermented hot sauce. Basically, you need to make a salt and vinegar brine, stick them in a canning jar, and let them go for a couple weeks. Now, to make this easier on myself, I bought myself a little easy fermenting kit off of Amazon. I'll throw the link down in the description. Now, I haven't used this before. Last time, all I did was I just put them in the jar, put a little cheesecloth on them, weighed them down, and let them sit out. Worked perfectly fine. But I thought this would be a fun little thing to try. If I really start getting into making my own hot sauces, this would be very helpful. Interestingly enough, there are no instructions in this. All of the instructions are on the side of the box. Prepare your ingredients, add your brine, twist on the lid. No more burping or monitoring for mold, just wait for the fermentation process to happen. And I guess we can use this to suck out the oxygen. Cool. These are some awesome little glass weights that go down on top of the jar. Now I hope that I have the right size lids for the jar that I have. Let me go wash all this, sterilize these, and I'll be right back. Now I sterilized anything that was glass. Stick it in boiling water for 10 minutes and it's good to go. So these guys are all done. I do have the right size lid for my jar. We're only gonna smoke 3/4 of our peppers because we can't use all smoked peppers in our fermented pepper sauce. There's a bacteria called lactobacillus that you need for fermenting. When you cook things, you kill it, so it won't ferment. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put like half smoked peppers in here and half fresh peppers. So that fresh peppers are gonna be able to start the fermentation process, get everything going. Once the juices and everything are going, it'll be perfectly fine. So we're only gonna smoke 3/4 of our peppers. You enjoying this video? Well, there's a few simple things you can do to help me out. 1, you could subscribe if you're not already. 2, you could give the video a like and hit that bell, all right? Now that our peppers have started, we're gonna start on our other ingredients. We are gonna use some garlic and some mango. The flavors of this just really make the hot sauce awesome. We don't need to dice them or do anything with them because we're just gonna stick them in our jar. Half our garlic, because we are gonna ferment this garlic, is going in the jar. And then we need to chop up these peppers that are going in the jar. Just a rough chop. And I wanna fill about half of this jar with fresh peppers. And then the rest are just gonna go back in the smoker. That should be enough for the fresh to make sure that we get our fermentation going, because the smoked peppers are gonna be gushy. They're gonna come through no problem. And then the last thing is we need to peel and chop our mango, which means these guys can go in here. You know what? Let's smoke the garlic. That sounds good. We're gonna let that smoke for 30 minutes to an hour. just till they start getting some color and bringing in that smoke flavor. We're just gonna rough dice this. All right, we're gonna throw a little bit of mango in here, and that should leave about enough room for smoked peppers at the top to give it some smoky flavor. The rest of this, we're gonna set aside till that's done smoking, and we go ahead and do our quick cook sauce. Now you might have noticed, I didn't take any seeds out of anything. I got habaneros and red Thai chilies. This is gonna be some spicy hot sauce. So I hope you like the spice. These peppers have been smoking for about 30 minutes. Let's see how they look. They look done. A little bit of char on them, a little bit of smoke on them. These should be perfect. For our fermented sauce, we are gonna take these peppers, the nice smoky ones. That should be good. We need to leave enough room for our weight and our liquid. Speaking of liquid, let's get that. In here I have 2 cups of water, 3 tablespoons of sea salt, 1 cup of white vinegar. I'm using a Filipino brand. You can use regular white vinegar. And 1 tablespoon of white sugar. We're gonna go ahead and give this a nice mix. We really wanna try to dissolve this as best as possible. We're gonna take our brine, and pour it all over. We're gonna take this guy, weigh everybody down. If you don't use it all, that's okay. Then we screw on our lid, and we should be able to take this guy and once you start getting some liquid out of it, I guess you are good. This should be good to sit out at room temperature for about 2 weeks. You can go even longer, but we're gonna do 2 weeks. We're gonna sit this on my counter for 2 weeks. Onto our quick cook sauce. We're gonna take everything that we have left, smoky peppers, smoked garlic, all this mango, 2 cups of water, 3/4 of a cup of white vinegar, tablespoon of sea salt, tablespoon of sugar, half a tablespoon of MSG, and we blend. From here, our sauce is basically done. We're just gonna cook it to reduce it and intensify the flavors a little bit. Now's a good time where you can actually just give it a test. The flavor's not gonna change too much. This way we can adjust our vinegar, salt, and sugar to our liking. We can also add more water if we want to thin it out. Oh my! Did I mention it's spicy? Holy moly. Okay. We can definitely use some more vinegar. I'm gonna add probably an extra tablespoon of salt and an extra bit of sugar. The sugar should counteract that heat a little bit. Oh boy, she's spicy. Also add some water. I think I'll do a 50-50. I'll take half of this and strain it, and half of it and keep it chunky. That way I get kind of 2 different style sauces out of this one batch. Once we simmered this for about 10 minutes, we're gonna go ahead and turn off the heat and let it cool down. After that, we'll be able to strain it and get it in a container. Our hot sauce has cooled down. It's time to go ahead and strain it and bottle it. To strain it, you're gonna wanna use yourself a colander and some cheesecloth, because you really wanna get all the chunky bits out. Now we should be able to. That was pretty poorly done, but I think it'll get the job done. The next step is we'll go 1 more strain into our bottle. I am messy. I'm not doing the best job at this, guys. Okay, there is our thin version of the sauce. For our chunky, more salsa-y version, we'll go into this container. I'll see you in about 2 weeks so we can finish off the fermented sauce, and then I want to do a taste test. Do I like the fresh versus the fermented? But I'll leave you with this for now. Why did the hot sauce go to the doctor? It had a chilly feeling. Exactly 3 weeks ago, we made this hot sauce with some smoked peppers on the Ninja Woodfire Grill. Now, we also started this ferment 3 weeks ago. A little bit of interestingness in this one. It never really got cloudy, which all of my other ferments have. I don't know if it's the smoked pepper in it or whatnot, We'll open it up, and if it smells bad, we'll know that something went wrong. If it didn't go wrong, we're gonna go ahead and stick it in the blender, a couple extra ingredients, and make our smoked hot sauce, and then I'm gonna compare. Here we go. Okay, it was definitely airtight. That smells smoky and peppery. Does not smell bad. It would immediately smell terrible if it had gone wrong. So I think we're safe. And now we're gonna separate the peppers from the brine. But don't get rid of the brine. We want that. We're gonna take 1/2 cup of the brine. I should have done that closer to the blender. Oh my gosh. Almost 1/2 cup? This is just plain old white vinegar. We're gonna take 1/2 cup of it, and I have a tablespoon of sugar and a tablespoon of MSG. We're gonna go ahead and add that. Go ahead and add that. And that's pretty much it. And now we're just gonna blend it till it's smooth. From a thickness standpoint, I think I want a little bit more liquid, so I'm gonna add in some more brine and some more vinegar in equal parts. At this point, we probably have almost a cup of each in there. The reason I'm doing this is because I'm gonna strain this, and I really just want the liquid and some of the pulp. This will give me a little bit more liquid to play with to hopefully get enough hot sauce. At this point, we're gonna strain it just like we did for the fresh pepper twist. Make sure that your cheesecloth is thick enough and it doesn't pop when you're squeezing, like I just did. I wanted some bits in there, so I guess I'm okay. That's why I normally do it over the strainer. At this point, our hot sauce is basically done. Now you can cook this if you want for 15 minutes on simmer to completely stop the fermentation process. That will also lock in the flavor and make sure the flavor doesn't change over time and develop over time. I'm not worried about that, and I wanna get to tasting this right away, so I'm gonna skip the cooking process. It's optional. Another optional step is to add some xanthan gum to your hot sauce. What this is gonna do is it's gonna stabilize it and stop it from splitting. If you've ever made homemade hot sauce and stuck it in the fridge or whatever, eventually the pepper stuff and the oil and the water, they're gonna separate and you're gonna have like this little weird thing and you have to shake it up before you use it. It's not a big deal, but for looks, you can add a little bit of xanthan gum. And when I mean a little bit, I mean a little bit. I would start with 1/8 teaspoon. You don't need to cook it to do this. And just mix it in. The max I would ever put would be 1/4 teaspoon because this is going to massively thicken your hot sauce over time. It'll eventually, like right now, it's not gonna get like thick and gloopy. We're gonna put one more, give it a mix. And don't forget about our mash. We're gonna still mix in some of this because this has a lot of the good seeds and flavor in there. That's it. That is our finished hot sauce. I am out of my cool little hot sauce jars that I steal from buying Filipino vinegar. I buy this Filipino spiced vinegar that comes in those jars, and then when I'm done with them, I clean it out and I reuse them for my own hot sauces. You're gonna notice a slight color difference between these two hot sauces. The reason being is I added a little bit of red food coloring to this one just for looks. I wanted it to look a little bit redder just because I wanted it to. So this one's a little more orange, this one's a little more red. Now I also reduced and cooked this one down, so it's quite a bit thicker than our other sauce. It ruins my idea. I was gonna do a blind taste test to see if I could tell the difference between the two sauces. But on thickness alone, there is a huge difference. Now I've been using a little bit of this here and there, so I kind of know what this one tastes like. Let's see. Wow. Time for a palate cleanser. I didn't adjust the flavoring on this one at all. You could add more salt, you could add more sugar, you can add more vinegar, kind of tailor it to what you want it to taste like. But for right now, just straight out of what I did, let's give it a taste. Woo. Oh yeah, the habaneros definitely come through. Woo. That has so much more flavor and bite, and you can actually, I think, taste the smokiness more in that one. versus this one is more of a sweeter sauce. And I kind of like that thin viscosity on this one. Just for giggles, I'm gonna try and do a triangle test on this one. I'm gonna spin them around, mix them up with a blindfold on, and see if I can tell which one of these is the fermented and which one of these was the fresh pepper sauce. It should be pretty obvious that there's texture. I just want to do this. I have my wife's eye massager. It should make for a good blindfold. Here we go. I can see anything. I can't see anything. All right, this will be fun. How much of a mess will I make trying to get this stuff to my mouth? Here we go. That is definitely the fresh pepper. Oh yeah. That's the fermented. And that's the fresh pepper. Yeah, it's super obvious. Even without a viscosity difference, you can immediately tell the difference in these sauces, and I prefer the fermented. I'll be fermenting my hot sauces from now on. So good. It just adds a complex and a depth to the flavor. It's not hard to do, plus I don't have to cook it. Ooh, now my mouth is on fire. I have another bottle of this in my fridge, and I called it Mango Madness. I even made a cool little label for it. The reason I did this is because I'm doing a delivery to a friend of mine. His name's Drew, my best buddy. Drew in the Moment. If you're interested in like Disney content and fun stuff like that, check him out. I'll throw the link down in the description. But he is also a hot sauce aficionado, and I made him some of my last hot sauce. And him and his boys have just been tearing it up, and they are out. So they need a new load of hot sauce. So Mango Madness coming your way, Drew. I'm also going to give you some of this fermented one because it's awesome. That answers the question, should you or should you not ferment your hot sauce? In my opinion, you should. And can you smoke peppers for hot sauce? In my opinion, you can, and it adds an awesome flavor. There is one other pepper question I can give you the answer to, and it is, what do angry peppers do? They get jalapeno face. Yeah, that's pretty bad. Please do all the likey, subscribe stuff. It means a lot to me. If you could like, leave a comment, maybe share this video. It really helps grow this channel, and it means a lot to me. Another thing that would mean a lot to me is I opened up memberships on this channel. You can click the little join button below. There's a couple of different levels. You get different benefits, and it really helps support this channel. If you really like the channel, maybe consider it. Dad may become a hot sauce dealer, but Dad doesn't do outros. So that's it. Bye. And now it's time to thank our members, or should I say member. Right now, we have one member, Joan Stubblefield. Thank you so much, Joan. You rock.